I'm Hobbs, and you're watching the Underground Bunker on I'm Hobbs, and you're watching the Underground Bunker on Bloodrock Media.
I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down and clear the stone of leaves. I wander out where you can't see.
Welcome to another episode of the Underground Bunker, the sweetest smelling music show on the internet. Brought to you by Doritos. If it's the food you want, it's probably not Doritos. I am your host, Hobbs, and as you know, this is a weekly web series where I showcase unsigned and underground bands that I really think you ought to be paying attention to. Because, you know, we all need to have a better open mind about stuff, and that's why I cover everything from pop rock to death metal. This week's show a bit different because we're doing 5 bands that are fronted by females. Females with some serious power in their lungs. And it is in that mind that I say, let's get shit done, let's have a fucking show. This week, the first band I have for you is technically from Holland, though 2 of their members are from my neck of the woods, and they are called Mercy Isle. Now, I love these guys, and I don't just love them because they're a good band. I love them because the 2 people that I know in the band are really good people. The singer, Cassie, actually used to be my vocal coach when I was in 9mm Solution. Speaking of, the bass player for this band is named Chad Novell, who was my bass player in 9mm Solution. Cassie and Chad, by the way, are married, and they just sort of fuddy-duddied around for a couple of years doing a couple of things before they happened to hook up with the rest of the band, which are from, you know, Holland, the Netherlands, all that good stuff. A couple of roster changes, you know, here and there. I think a couple of their guys were stateside, and then they had to leave because they couldn't, you know, hop the fence once in a while. Totally cool. Including, I believe, Corey Schreider from Casket Robbery. Yes, I'm eating Doritos, fuck it. Now, they started in 2014, and I think they really got to recording right away, because they released their first EP, which was called Storm, in 2015, and it had on there the single that they really pushed, which is called I'm Gonna Make It, and it did pretty well. Matter of fact, it did so well that it spurred their fans on to successfully fund their Kickstarter for the album. Now, they played a couple of really big festivals, including Valkyries over Atlanta, and then there's the one where they flew all the way to fucking Belgium to play the Metal Female Voices Fest in Belgium, wherein they released said album, which is called Undying Fire. I've heard it, I love it. Cassie's voice is very singular. She has been named on several lists of the best female vocalists in the world. And if you've ever seen her, if you've ever heard her, and if you've ever watched her, you know that she has such operatic power in her voice. And it's well deserved. She has trained a long time on that thing. Now, you can catch these guys on their Facebook. You can catch them on their .com. You can find their music on Amazon, iTunes, but check them out on Facebook and mercyisle.com. Check them out. I don't know about you, but I enjoy a regular throttling of the senses. With that in mind, I present to you a singer who is both talented and undoubtedly out of her mind. Her name is Cake. Okay, I have no idea if Cake is her real name. I have no idea when she got started. I have no idea how old she is. All I know is that she's fucking crazy and I fucking love her music. Her music is a weird mix of like Bjork and Jewel, but I think her voice sounds like a completely crazy Helen Kane, who did that, I wanna be loved by... You don't want to hear me singing that. Her songs and music have this sort of weird erratic tone to them, which makes her very unique. And as far as her music, her recorded music goes, like this, she just sort of wanders around the city and makes music, which to me is really, really punk rock. She's also a huge sci-fi fan, which makes me love her even more, and might help explain her mindset just a tad. In that aspect, the whole of her identity is just this sort of weird, angelic, schizophrenic sage making music in her basement. And if you want to find her, you could probably walk around any borough in New York City, down an alley, sitting on a ledge or a step with a guitar, making up a song. Like some of the stuff that she comes up with is just, you can just tell that she wrote it like in 5 minutes, but be that as it may, it's still some of the most unimaginably emotional shit. She has a website where you can get her music. I'm not entirely sure where it's at because her .com doesn't work. Cake, you should get on that. But you can catch her on December 23rd at the Sidewalk Cafe in New York City.
Segway.
The next band I'm going to talk about is a group of really cool people. I've played with them, I've toured with them, they've slept at my house, and they've gotten progressively stronger since they came on the scene several years ago, which is a little ironic because they are called City of the Weak.
Things aren't always what they seem. Now that I'm so aware, maybe I'm just dreaming. If I am, it's a nightmare.
Now, they're a 3-piece band from Minneapolis. They used to be a 4-piece, and I believe they have like a regular drummer or something, or one of the guys that plays with them live is someone that's not currently in the band. Just someone that plays with them. Which is fine. Because when they first started out, they were the band with the hair. The hair. One of their guys had hair that literally came out this way. And I thought that was funny. I played one of their earlier shows with them. I played with them several times. But their earlier shows, they were a younger band. You could tell it was a good sound, but since then they have gotten so much more mature with their sound. And Stephanie, her voice has just progressed so much. It has got so much depth to it, and I love that because she's got raw power in her high end, but she's got throatiness, and it is just kind of sultry to listen to, if that you understand that. It's an efficient mix of Paramore and like 98 Degrees, which I don't like either of those bands. I really don't like either of those bands, but I like these guys because when you can have 2 recipes with great ingredients that taste like shit, but then you can take a couple of the ingredients from each of those recipes and put them together and make Cheez-Its, which rock. I should reiterate that Cheez-Its, are a poor man's quesadilla, which is bread and cheese on top of it, and then you throw it in the microwave or the toaster. They've actually toured the nation several times. They've got a solid fan base because of it. They've toured with the nation several times, most notably, many times by the way, with Gabriel and the Apocalypse, whom I'll be talking about in a couple of weeks. And they've done it all without any major album support or any major booking agencies, which is great. Lately they've taken a little bit more of a political approach to their music, which is understandable. I mean, they've always been a band with a cause, which I respect the hell out of. Stephanie is vegan, and understandably very, very anti-animal abuse, which I respect. I mean, look at my kitty, she's right over there. Hey, sweetie. But yeah, they've taken a little bit more of a political approach. One of their songs is called Censor This, and as you can understand, it's about, people trying to shut you up. And there's been a lot of that going on these days. Their current single is called Ungrateful. It was released back in March. I know they're working on new material right now, and you can catch all of it on their website. Once again, I'm going to draw from my neck of the woods because there's a few burgeoning bands here that I feel are being neglected. This next one is a stunning example of a band with female vocalists that has both soul and power, and I've been waiting to talk about them for a while. They are called Once the Sun. I've known these guys for quite a while. And when I say quite a while, I mean that they got together, I think it was like 2004. And I played one of their first shows ever. And they were good back then. They've gotten a lot better now. They actually used to have two singers. One, I think his name is Mark or something like that. And Anna, who is just so talented. Everybody in the band is really talented, but Anna just has this voice. She's got soul and she's got power, and it is reminiscent in my mind of Amy Lee from Evanescence and Christina Aguilera, if you can believe that. Kind of got this, throaty tone to her, and it's positive, and it's just out there. You don't have to reach to hear it, if you can understand that. A band like this, especially in Milwaukee, has a hard time finding a crowd. And while that's not really true of them anymore, it has taken a long time for them to get the fan base they have. And unfortunately, none of that has been on the touring edge, which I think sucks, because a band like this is a band that the world needs to hear. And I truly believe that if these guys got in the boat and sailed away for a bit, the world would fucking love them. And it saddens me that it's so hard to tour these days, because a band like this needs to be heard. Like I said, they've got a solid fan base, including some of the better podcasters around here, besides me. And it's because of their fan base, and it's because of the show they put on, that they've played almost every festival in Wisconsin, not to mention Milwaukee's Summerfest, many times. Now, they had an album with the old singer, and he left a while ago, and in my mind, they've only gotten better since Anna took over on main vocals. And since then, they've done another album, which I've heard it, and I've seen them play it many times. And to my mind, it is just stunningly beautiful to listen to, because the mix is there, the guitars are chunking, Sam is amazing on the drums, and Anna fronting the band is just one of the best decisions they've ever made. To that end, you can get the music on Amazon and iTunes and the Facebook page, and you can get it at their shows, and I highly recommend that you do. A lot of you will have seen the singer for the next band doing some odd videos on YouTube, but I'm not going to talk about that because it would take away from the awesome talent that is the anchor. Sorry kids, I couldn't find any better video except for your music video, and there's only one. Now, the Anchor is a 5-piece metalcore band from Colorado. They've been around for a couple of years. I think it was 2014 that they formed. And in that time, they've managed to nail down a very solid fan base. A fan base, by the way, which has backed them up amongst all the trolls. People these days can't stand a moment on the internet if they're not hating on something. And it was because of that the band actually really went to bat for their fans and did some serious recording, and it's quality stuff. Now, you have Lindsay, who's got this sort of classic girl next door type look to her, and she actually sort of acts that out on stage. Very prim, very proper, but she has the voice of a demon on the toilet. As it may, these guys have actually toured on their own, which is no small order. They didn't have a booking agency at the time, and so they booked their own tour. And they actually came pretty close to me, which I think was Minneapolis. And I didn't get to see him because that's a 6-hour fucking drive. Get the fuck on it, guys. Milwaukee. Not hard. Interesting to note about this band is, like Ultrea, who I talked about a month and a half ago, they have a message, and the message is quite simply that it is okay to not be okay. And one of the singers that I really like, his name's Logic. He's a rapper, and he's one of the people that are openly doing this thing these days where it's talking about mental issues and stuff that nobody's talking about. And I think especially in metal, because you have that in shoegaze and you have that in the Starbucks, singer-songwriter thing, but you don't have that in metal, at least not in so much as it's an overt message, because everybody writes songs about their feelings, but no one's really writing a song about how those feelings are affecting them and affecting other people. And I think more people should be doing that. They've got a couple of EPs out. I think they have an album, but their next album is coming out on February 23rd. It is called Make It Last, and you can get it on the anchor-band.com. That's all the time we have on this episode of The Underground Bunker. Please be sure to like and subscribe. You all know how this works. We've got videos coming out all the time, including my other show, The Fallout Shelter, where I interview touring bands. I also invite you to check out every single link below this video. You know, the Spotify, the Facebook, the Twitter, all the band links. Check them out. And before I go, I would like to thank Asylum 8 for sending me what has to be the only copy of their album in the United States. And they did me the favor of writing a little love note, so awesome to them. And I'm going to leave you guys with this note. You need to back up your words with actions. That means don't just say, oh yeah, I love that band. Love that band. And this is for musicians and fans alike. Because there's a lot of two-facedness. Yes, it's the word. There's a lot of two-facedness going on in the music scene. The underground scene needs help because we cut each other's throats too much and it's got to stop. I'm Hobbs. I'm out.